What's up, everyone? It's time for Tournament Tactics NFL Week 8 DraftKings Tournament Breakdown Show. And with me to break it all down, I've got the dream team back together again. Bobby 2 times. Gotta get the millions, get the millions. We got Josiah, a.k.a. Bob, a.k.a. the MILF Hunter himself. And, of course, the Shark Lab, author of DraftKings Winning the $1 Million Game, Secrets of the DraftKings Millie Maker, Mr. Burns himself. And we got a big Week 8 slate, guys. A big Week 8 slate with a couple of very sexy games. Some interesting spots, some injury situations that we got to deal with, some extreme good chalk maybe, and we're going to have to figure out how to make it all work. This is, for me, the first week, I would say, where I think the salaries are pretty right, and we can start to get into that time where a little bit less of that extreme value on regular players is going to be there. Double tight end might be a thing. Let's talk about some of these game environments, guys. BobbyWow, which of these game environments is exciting? We got a few ones in green here on the screen.
Let me start really quick by just acknowledging, I know we're going to acknowledge it throughout the stream as we typically do, but your Jackson Dart call last week was, I mean, we all thought impossible to top the Kendrick Bourne call from the previous week. He topped it. I was wrong. You were right. What a great call, Jackson Dart. So let me just start by giving you your flowers there, Geek, once again.
That's why you're the man, BobbyWow. Folks, BobbyWow is the GOAT for many reasons, but this is one of them.
What a great call. Well, I know we'll talk more, so we'll get back to that soon, but look, I think there's a bunch of games on here. Y'all know I'm going to mention the Bears game. Not even as much for the Bears as for the Ravens here. Bears depleted defense. Lamar is back. Practice in full today. Got to love that for the Ravens, who are really in a must-win situation from here on out at home. So love that Ravens game. We've got the Cowboys again on a high total slate with Bo Nix and his Broncos after maybe the most miraculous comeback I've seen in forever. I mean, it looked like Tim Tebow out there working the mile high magic. So that was fun. Of course, I think the Bucks are a team. The Bucks and the Bengals, two of the one-sided games that I'll be paying attention to as well. So lots of goodness.
Yeah, a bunch of really good game environments to kind of focus on. You didn't mention one of the best ones, of course, this Giants-Eagles game.
Yes,
another really good one.
Good one for those who like Jackson Dart. I don't know if it's a high total, but yes.
We got to be on Team Dart, bet the overs. Right after the show last week, after I said all that, I was like, I'm going to bet overs on Giants team totals. And I bet all these overs, not just like the 16-point team total, but I did the 18, 21. And I forgot about it. And then I was like, why do I have so much money in my account at the end of the day? It's kind of funny. Josiah, any of these games popping for you?
Yeah,
that Wow didn't mention, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not sure if he mentioned it, but the Colts, you have to look at the Colts. Not really looking at the Titans side of it, but the Colts are looking great this week. And then I low-key do like the Bears side of that Ravens game too. So I'm going to be all over that one. For me, it's a little harder to look at the Cowboys right now in that Broncos-Cowboys game, but I'll have some exposure there too. So, it's the high total games that are standing out. Nothing too wild.
Yeah. Shark Lab, any games popping in the model?
Not outside of what everybody has already said. So, those are all pretty much right where it's going to reside.
Hey, wait, I'll pat Burns and my back. We were all over that Bo Nix call. It was scary that entire game until the fourth quarter, but hey, it still came through. So that was a good one by us too.
It absolutely did come through. And I would add, though, that it only came through because Dart was fucking tearing it up in that game.
Which is what we said.
Yes.
We should have clipped that.
Shout out to you, Burns, because there were more people even talking up in the chat, talking up Nix, and everybody's Nix. And I'm like, guys, what about Dart? And meanwhile, you're right. It was actually Nix who was the absolute nut play of them all.
But I got to say, though, I think the call of the week was Arondé Gadsden.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually had him in my cheat sheets, and he exploded. I think I was the only one that had him.
Yes.
I was on him. So
you were. So that was a great call as well. And now Gradston has now cemented his Studley status
Yeah.
Gadsden at this point in Dynasty Fantasy Football is valued probably as the highest value tight end this side of Brock Bowers. Like he has already
More than
risen.
Tyler Warren?
Yes.
Gotcha.
He is now risen. He has risen to number 2, maybe number 3 overall.
Nice.
Yeah. One game that we need to talk about is also the Bengals side of the Bengals-Jets game. And let's not forget that Flacco does not give a fuck. He's going to sling it.
He will, but can we talk about this a little bit? Like, Flacco destroyed the Steelers. The Steelers are arguably one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now.
Oh, stop. Not worse than the Jets.
They just are. It's not even a question. And the Jets are a tier above. They're a bit better. So I understand the love, and I'm not crapping on it too much, but I do think people need to slow their roll a little bit.
You got to understand, a dead team on the road is as dead can be.
It's true.
One thing to take a dead team and have them play with some fire at home, but a dead team on the road is just melt apart disaster. That's what's going to happen with the Jets. It's just going to melt apart. They don't have the pieces to stop the offense of the Browns, and even worse, or even not the Bengals. Even worse, the Jets. I actually think the Jets have the offense with Tyrod Taylor in there to make a game of it and cause Flacco to need to throw. Yeah. If
Also
Wilson
debatable.
comes back, they have an acceptably good enough offense that it's not going to be one of these, 21-0, 28-0 disasters that, you stop. I think the Jets will have offense. They have a better quarterback coming in than what they've had. And so they can do something with him.
I don't think we mention the Buffalo game?
No, I'm not into the Buffalo game. So if you have a reason to be interested in it, share it.
I think on the other side of the ball is actually in play on the Carolina side. I think it could actually have some fantasy goodness in this one, especially at the RB spot.
Oh yeah, for sure at the running back spot.
But even this week we get low salaried Andy Dalton because Bryce Young is actually out in this game. So
Dalton better. You're right. And Dalton better than Bryce.
4,500 ain't bad.
Yeah. Dalton. I have Tet for my earlier in the week video. My first look. Tet
Josiah, please talk some sense to these gentlemen.
I'm not going
better than BobbyWow. Dalton will run the Panthers offense better than Bryce Young will.
Okay. That's where you stepped into blasphemy territory.
No.
That's stretching.
There's a better chance B. Dalton Bookstores puts up more points in the stock market than that Panthers team puts up with Andy Dalton under center. Please.
I'm not
Great
really
running backs. Great running backs.
I'm not really
Dalton, but you can call me Tutties.
No.
I don't know. They're kind of feeding into the delusions I want to have, but I really don't see it, y'all. I really
Dalton
don't.
is Flacco light, guys. Don't sleep on Dalton.
I'm not really into the play like where you need to slam a door on this guy or boost him up or anything like that with Dalton, but I've seen Dalton actually win people the $1 million before. So I mean, even with Carolina. So
he's done it before. It's the same thing as Flacco, guys. You can't sleep on Dalton. I think Ted.
The WR that actually benefits is the slot WR.
Ted
Dalton. So yep.
Here's the great thing about Dalton. Unlike Bryce Young, he can see over the offensive linemen's heads.
Wait, you like Coker Two Burns? Okay.
Bryce Young has to roll out even just to see what's going on with the wide receivers. He can't see them, Josiah. He's the same height as me.
He's been getting the ball to the receivers.
Fine.
Bryce is not the problem. There is no problem, actually. The offense is great. They just run the ball down these teams' throats. The only frustrating thing is it's a literal 50-50 split right now. They just rotate every single drive, kind of like the Lions have done before. But there is no problem in Carolina. All is good.
Yeah. You cannot trust Dowdle to get the load. It's really a 50-50, as Josiah said. It makes it gross, actually. Garrett Wilson officially out. All right, so there we go. forget Tyrod at that point. Now he has no weapons. There was a possibility that Garrett Wilson was going to play. Guys, let's go over and take a look at the chalk report. And let's see who people are flocking to this early. Oh, okay. I'm always a little surprised. And it doesn't fail me. I'll give you examples right off the bat of what this is all surprising.
What?
Baker makes sense. Saints have been awful this year defensively.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to push the envelope. All right. Josh Allen in a smash spot, paying up. That's not how I'm doing it this week, I'll tell you right now. But what do you guys think of some of these ownerships? So you got Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Baker, and Josh Allen, all the name brand guys up top, I'll call it. And they're all projecting for effectively the highest ownership on the slate. I see way too much ownership on Daniel Jones in a Jonathan Taylor smash game. I don't know. Michael Penix in there. What's he doing in there? So let me see my favorites here. Jackson Dart, 3%. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to give us another opportunity? Andy Dalton, 1%. Interesting. All right. So with that being said, look at the chalk report, guys. And this is a little surprising for me. Some names that I'm not super high on, like Spencer Rattlesnake, as a fairly highly owned person. I'm not really down with any of that. But I want to hear from the dream team here, guys. Any surprises for you here, Burns, at the top of this list? Lamar, Jalen, anyone that you're like, all right, but I'm not playing them in these top 5 or 6 chalk guys?
No, I can understand this chalk pretty. I mean, it's going to gravitate to Lamar. I can understand that. The only one that I'm probably not going to be heavy on is actually Baker. So, yeah, I could see where he just doesn't have to do much of this game. I can actually see where it becomes more of a Rashad White game. Yeah, he's getting owned here. I think it actually drops over the course of the weekend before we hit lock. But I could see Lamar pushing up higher than this. Jalen Hurts in a good spot. All these ownerships make sense. I don't really see anything that's outstandingly weird or anything. I can even understand the Daniel Jones trying to get back that magic from last week, or I could see that. So.
And you're fine with the Rattlesnake?
No, I don't play him much, so no. I don't.
Dak Prescott, the hottest quarterback in football at 1.5%. Okay.
You know why, though? That Broncos defense is legit. Not everyone can be Jackson Dart.
That is true. Not everybody can be Dart. All right, let's get into it, guys. Unless anybody has something to add, let's get into our quarterback position and let's start talking about some of the names that we're excited to stack in big tournaments, NFL Week 8. We'll jump right over to the DraftKings screen here, and let's just kind of talk through our quarterback position. BobbyWow, high-end quarterbacks here. You've got this group that's going to have a lot of ownership with Allen, Lamar, Hurts, Mayfield, and then some lower-owned guys as well, Bo Nix and Daniel Jones. So a lot of the ownership is concentrated in the pay-up options. Again, personally, I find that a little bit incorrect, but I guess we'll see how things play out. The reason I don't think it's super correct is because salaries this week have gotten in some, although a lot of value is really opening up right now, but salaries have gotten a lot tighter across the board. And, later in the season, it's harder to pay up at luxury positions. With that being said, BobbyWow, which of the upscale price point quarterbacks are popping for you this week? Who are you excited to build some lineups around, and how?
Yeah, I think, look, in a hybrid, it starts with Lamar, and you'd like to get him at lower ownership, coming off of the hamstring injury. I think he's been out for 4 or 5 weeks now. So never ideal rostering a quarterback coming right off of that. However, it is Lamar Jackson. He practiced in full today. He's up against the Bears defense that has played much better, but is back to being completely unhealthy, especially in their secondary, which to me just, says you can fire him up. I think the Bears should keep this game competitive. It's one of the higher totals on the slate. So Lamar, I think, makes the most sense in terms of, being an all format, probably the most slam dunk all format play for me on the slate.
Okay. Lamar. Josiah, how about you?
Yeah, I'm with Bobby here. It's Lamar for me up top. I don't love Allen here, and I've been saying it all year. Panthers just really haven't been giving up a ton of fantasy points to players in general outside of ETN week 1 and Waddle, I think week 3 or 4. So, yeah, Josh Allen can have slate breaking upside. It's definitely possible, especially with linebackers not being a strength of the Panthers. But he's someone I don't love. And then Hurts with AJ Brown out, it's just someone that's hard for me to click on right now. I know the Giants, you can definitely pass on them, but Hurts hasn't been great at that this season. I know he was better last week, but it hasn't been a trend of his. So this could be the start of something good for them, but I like the running back there a bit more. So for me up top is really just Lamar Jackson, and I'll have Baker Mayfield exposure too, but I'm not going too crazy with that.
Yeah, there we go. I think Hurts is a simpler one because now we only have to worry about Smith and Goddard. Burns, how about you? Up top, which of these quarterbacks are popping for you?
I mean, when the week started, it was built around Lamar. I mean, when we knew that he was actually going to, come be a factor in this game, it was starting to build around Lamar. But I can also see, paths in this game being different than what it actually is showing within our ownerships here. So I don't mind Lamar this week. I don't think he's going to be my highest owned quarterback on the slate. I like Jalen Hurts a little bit. I understand exactly where Josiah was going with that. But this might be a back and forth game this week because the Giants have proved that they can actually put points on the board on the road. They did it in a very challenging environment in Denver. And they put a lot of points on the board. They lost by 1, and they put up 32 points. They put up 31 the week before against this Philly defense. And I can understand where they're going to be. They could be a back and forth game, and Jalen Hurts has to win this game. I mean, the Giants are pushing. They're 2-2 with Jackson Dart, and you take those 3 losses off the board from Russell Wilson, and this is a completely different team. Like, Russell screwed them over in the first 3 games of the season, and so this is a completely different team under Jackson Dart, and I could see this being a back and forth affair. I think Jalen Hurts could be slightly underowned at this spot right now at 10%, around 10%. So plus he's at home, and they do the tush push, and he gets those 6 pointers from that. He's got rush upside, as much of rush upside as any other quarterback on the entire slate. So, I think you got to have Hurts in your player pool this week. I think he has to be a part of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
the tush push is going to be what pisses me off the most, but yeah.
I don't know why you keep going back for the suffering with Saquon. Josiah, it's just suffering at this point.
I just started last week, so I'm new to this life. New to this life of suffering.
Yeah.
So 1 week won't kill me.
You're in for the pain. Yeah, up top, Lamar, I think it's great. I'm not going to really have Josh Allen in my lineups. Josh Allen is not a guy I like in games that are uncompetitive. I don't really see. Actually, could be this could shock to the upside, but at 7,500, I just don't want to pay it anyway. But actually, like I said, I do believe in Andy Dalton's ability to make it a competitive game. I do believe in that. But the 2 that stand out to me the most, Jalen Hurts up top, everything you said, Burns, plus the dart magic is going to cause Jalen to have to push the pedal to the metal. And as a bonus, I can now double stack him really easily. I even have a Jahan Dotson Stoneman 3K guy that I can roll in some of those lineups if I want. So as Devontae Smith, anyway, Giants don't have anybody who is a shutdown corner. It's fine, right? So I really like that spot. Bo Nix is the other one that pops for me in the 6 and up range. I know he had the big week last week. Oh, I chasing last week, but I mean, he's up against Dallas. I mean, come on. We figured out that home teams against Dallas, their offensive players do really well. Knicks, easy stack with Franklin or Cortland Sutton. I don't even think there's too much worry there. You just put him in there. Maybe do or don't bring back a piece from Dallas. Either way, Those are the two up top that probably pop the most for me, with a mild nod to, Dak Prescott on the other side of that game. I don't. The problem with Dak is really, if he's doing it, Bo Nix is probably doing it more. So what's the point? Like, what benefit are you really getting? Kind of feel a little bit of like, I feel that back and forth with Hurts and Dart, but at least there's a lot of savings from one to the other one. All right, guys, let's scroll down to the second group here, sort of the secondary group of quarterbacks. This is where most of the tournament winners have come from so far this season. Come on, best naked QB play for multiple reasons. It's Dart.
All right, let's not get carried away here.
Like, we are going crazy with these Dart calls at this point.
Well, no, he's asking the best naked quarterback. Start.
Hurts is fine too. But yeah.
Lamar's
you don't
even
need to go
fine.
naked with Hurts. Hurts has the easy stack with Smith. Who the hell you stack Dart with? Wandale? That's not that fun. An overpriced Wandale? That's not that great. Plus, have you seen Dart? The guy looks like a stone. If you're going to have somebody naked, that's your guy. No? Did I miss that? Yeah, see, he knew. He knew. He wants Trevor Lawrence in there. We're not playing naked Trevor. That's not happening. Slayton is available for this one, guys. All right, so let's talk about the secondary group here. BobbyWow, this is the group that includes Dart, Caleb Williams, Joe Flacco. This is where I want to be. Good Flacco, yeah. Big Red. Penix apparently is in the mix this week for some reason.
For some reason, I think there's some good reason here.
Well, that's why you're here, to describe that to me. That's
it goes without saying. I think Caleb is in play here once again. This is a Ravens defense that has really struggled. They're getting healthier and they're at home, which makes a difference. But Caleb is dropped in price and ownership, relative to last week, and he's got a full complement of healthy wide receivers. So firmly in play here in a game that I think we expect to be a relative shootout based on the game total. I like you guys. I really do like, I guess like Geek, at least I really do like Flacco quite a bit. That guy is slinging the ball. He's literally just lobbing the football up to Jamar Chase, and he's going to do that until they bench him. And I don't think that's going to happen until Burrow's back. So I'm all about that, all about the no sauce as well. I think that is a huge perk, a huge plus for Joey Flacco. So really like him at 5,400. And Penix, I think you got to consider Penix. As bad as he's been, he had a couple of deep balls toward the end of last week's game that just went through guys' hands. Darnell Mooney, I think, dropped 2 passes just on that last drive alone that would have easily set the Falcons up for a much better performance. I easily set them up for, I think, what would have been a win, but or at least it would have made it close. And the Dolphins have been one of the most atrocious, just horrible teams in the NFL. Really one of the saddest stories that we've seen in a couple of years. So I think this could be a big time get right game for Penix. He's incredibly cheap. He's super easy to stack, and this Dolphins team is really struggling.
I like it. I like the call. It's an easy stack with it's really not that easy. You got to get a twofer going with him with Pitts, Moody, and London. Could be anyone.
Not at that price. He's below 5K. I mean, he's Andy Dalton's price, literally.
The problem is he's a little too close in price to Dart and Flacco. They're like the same but better.
He's closer to Dalton than those guys, but I don't know that I fully agree with that.
Josiah, which are the quarterbacks in the sub 6K zone that you are interested in NFL Week 8?
Yeah, I'll touch on one guy in the 6,100 range too. I'm with you on Daniel Burns too. I like having some exposure to him. It easily could be a JT game, but if it's not, I like Daniel Jones at slightly lower ownership in a spot that has a surprisingly high total.
31-point team total. You don't see that often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just need some exposure to that. I'm never going to fade it. Bo Nix, I'm all over that as well. Worked last week. Hopefully does for us this week too. And then Caleb Williams, like you mentioned, Bobby, yeah, he had a bad week last week. The weather was a bit of an issue for them. This Ravens team is one we've been able to pick on for the vast majority of this season. Going to continue that. Then I'm also on Penix. So there's not really anyone I'm on that hasn't been talked about, but I'm not playing Dart and I'm not playing Flacco. That's pretty much where I'm taking stands.
I will be playing much Dart and extra Flacco just because you said that.
Thank you.
Just because you said that.
Make some money for me. I'll appreciate it.
You should know that when I pull up my screenshot of the tournament win with Dart in there and or Flacco, it will be dedicated to you, Josiah. Dedicated to you.
You're a real
Burns, what about you in this zone here? Which are the quarterbacks popping on your list?
We named them all.
Got them. All right. So no surprises. We're not going down to Tyrod. No one wants to put Andy Dalton on their put Andy Dalton's name on their mouth or whatever. How did Will Smith say it? I can't remember. But I think Dalton's playable too. I think at 4,500, I will have some Dalton.
We don't have a prop yet for Andy. If by the time we get to Sunday, that's surprisingly high, I might open it up. But for now, no.
Yeah, I think why not?
I think it's a fine play at 4,500. I mean, there's worse plays that are ahead of him in salary.
I feel like Rattler is a worse play at 4,700.
I mean, there are guys in the fives that are worse plays than him too. So
Justin Fields, terrible play this week, guys. Let's get off of that one.
Guaranteed 0.
Yeah, let's get off of that one. All right, is that anybody have any quarterback thoughts that we haven't covered yet? Nothing. All right, let's roll to the running back group. Let's see who people are on this week. There's a couple of running backs up top, obviously, that are in absolute lock button smash spots. Really, there's a trio of what I would say super hyper elite running backs at the top. I want to get everybody's thoughts on that trio and who our favorites are from that group. And then of course, I don't really see a lot of value running backs this week, but we're probably going to have to live with a couple of the lower price ones. So a lot of running backs in good spots. There is, of course, a lock button play at 6K as well. That should be in most lineups this week. And I'm going to be curious to actually see let's give it a little ownership sort. And what the fuck is going on here? Oh, wait, am I sorted? All right, hold on. I was like, wait, why is Henry so low? Okay. So a quick sort of P-owned. Bijan, who I think consensus best play of the week, is obviously the highest owned as well. But very close behind, Rachaad White, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane up there as well, and then James Cook. I really am cool with a lot of these ownerships. To be honest, I don't have any problem. I like all of the group here that people are putting ownership onto.
There's no real mega chalk either. I mean, 28, 30% isn't great, but it's not. We've seen guys at 45, 50%.
Yeah, no, it's hard to choose. Well, let's get right into it then, Bobby. Part of the reason is
their salaries.
They're expensive. So we can't play. I've tried to make lineups this week. And if you try to squeeze in, let's say, Taylor or McCaffrey and Bijan into the same lineup, the rest of the lineup really looks like ass. It does. It does not look good. Now, it might be doable with some of these injuries.
I mean, I don't know. You said you're playing Andy Dalton, so you could spend whatever you want, right?
An Andy Dalton lineup. You could do that there. That's what I'm saying. It opens things up. It could open things up, but
I don't know why I'm ribbing you. I did this last week, and I look like a fool now. So, but I have to do it.
Don't give me a hard time, Bobby. Well, you know what's going to happen. It's actually it emphasizes it when it works out, and when it doesn't work out, I'm like, Bobby told you not to play that. See how nice that works. We planned this before. This is something we have a discussion about before every show. Yeah, I don't know. I think Bijan is appropriately the most expensive. Or the highest owned.
Agreed.
Rachaad White, I could take or leave him at that price, to be honest. I don't really love it. Derrick Henry probably should be the highest owned.
Yeah, look, people are going to be scared to play him. And I don't look, he has been bad. Okay. he is not any younger. I don't care how old he is. I don't care how bad he's been. $6K is way too freaking cheap for Derrick Henry. Again, in a really good matchup at home, no less, with his starting quarterback back under center. The ingredients are there. He checks too many boxes this week, and 6K is, I think, the most disrespectful thing any DFS site has done to any player in the history of this sport. So I think Derrick Henry is a smash play.
Okay, we agree. I think he's the best play on the slate of any player at any position.
6K is ridiculous. I mean, his prop is a full 1.5 better projection than Rachaad White, who's even more expensive and scarier. So it's tough to get around in this week. I'm shocked he's not 40% owned.
Yeah, I think it will grow to that. I think it will come up. I'm even hearing from some people in the chat were like, well, I thought Lamar is questionable. So I don't think that the full information that Lamar is coming back and going to be fine is out there yet. So I think that will be absorbed, and ownership, I do expect he'll be the highest owned guy. I do expect that. Anybody else thoughts on ownership, or we can get into some of our favorites, guys?
One thing I heard about Derrick Henry is people are like, well, the first 2 weeks he was doing so poorly, even with Lamar. And then if you look back at those first 2 games,
was he?
Those defenses are looking pretty good now. Packers, Browns, those are just teams you don't want to run against. So
Derrick Henry put up a 33 against
week,
Buffalo.
Week, second and third week. Thank
so,
you for highlighting that.
Week 2, tough matchup against Cleveland.
But he's been trash ever since week 1. So week 1, he
hasn't been good.
Flashed, and then after that, he kind of fell off. And now he's going up against this team that we know they're small. Their edges are just really small and tiny. And so I like attacking with Derrick, like you guys said.
I would actually suggest Miran not to do that and just play him on DraftKings instead. I think that's the move. I would definitely full fade him on FanDuel, just because why would I pay that price when I can get a cheaper version of him on this site, and I'll just play someone else on FanDuel. Like
full fade on FanDuel is wild. That's a crazy statement to make.
If I'm playing him extreme on DraftKings only.
Well, most people don't play both, Geek. That's part of the issue. So I know you can hedge yourself.
I'm qualifying it and saying you should play on both. And when there's this big of a price discrepancy, play the guy on the site where he's cheaper, and then just don't play him on the other site. Treat your portfolio of DFS entries as a portfolio rather than as FanDuel, DraftKings separate things. They should be treated as a portfolio. And I don't need to pay $8K FanDuel price for Derrick Henry when he's available on a mistakenly underpriced thing. Like last night, guys, in NBA, for example, and Josiah knows about this. You guys don't. I barely know about it, but I did see notes going on in the chat that there was a fellow named PJ Washington who was mispriced on DraftKings.
Beautiful.
Right?
He's
wrong?
He kind of always is, isn't he, Josiah?
3K Stone Min or something?
He was the Stone Min.
Oh, okay.
It was an egregious misprice, right? They just made a mistake.
Yeah.
So do I need to go to FanDuel and go play this guy at, $6K or whatever his normal price is? No, I'm just playing on DraftKings. Fuck it. Not that you got, in that case, it was almost too much. Like, he was probably 90% on. There was no leverage to be had.
Only like 83%. He was still under-owned for that situation. It was crazy.
Only
17% of the people were suckers.
No, for NBA, like ownership can get crazy, where it's like 95% plus. So
shit.
80
By the way,
under-owned.
This fellow Miran, welcome from Guam. Hell yeah. Guam.
Also, Miran, you and I will both be playing Henry on FanDuel. So
there you go. You and BobbyWow, and that is good company, as good as it gets. All right, let's get into the actual who do we like this week portion of the running back discussion. I'm just going to open it up with some thoughts on the top group: Taylor, McCaffrey, Bijan. Guys, you have to pick just one. BobbyWow.
It's Bijan. It's Bijan.
Everybody, Josiah, you forced to pick one?
Yeah.
Order them then for me. Everybody.
Taylor's a close second, though. It's Bijan, but Taylor's close.
Bijan, Taylor, CMC.
Bijan, Taylor, CMC in that order. There we go. I would agree. Jonathan Taylor in that smash spot at home against the dead opponent with the Titans. Uncompetitive, garbage. This is why you don't want to play Daniel Jones this week, everyone. I'm going to warn you all that Daniel Jones does not excel generally in these type of circumstances. So we will wait to play Daniel Jones for a competitive game environment. At least I will. And I'll allow Jonathan Taylor to eat all the touchdowns in this particular game. McCaffrey, love McCaffrey, right? This guy hasn't seen less than double-digit targets yet. That is bananas for a wide receiver, and he's not a wide receiver. The hell is going on? The problem is, it's not a very good matchup. Like, it's fine too. The guy's going to get 10 more targets. Who cares? And now the only negative is it's a bit of a tougher matchup than he normally gets. And Bijan's kind of the same with an easier matchup. And oh my goodness, if the Algerian is not playing this week, oh boy, you get the bonus Q tag on Algier just in case you had a thought, maybe I should do something different. Josiah's already thinking about playing Saquon or someone else. I'm like, bro, just play Bijan.
Algiers out. It's a lock. It's near lock.
Yeah, you don't have the Algerian terrorizing you with vultures at the goal line. My goodness. Who came out in the fourth quarter last week? What was the game that was so lopsided that the whole team was pulled like at the end
Kansas
of the third?
City.
It was KC, and yeah, Mahomes still got there easily. It's funny. All right. We have an order for the top crew. It's Bijan, it's Jonathan Taylor, it's McCaffrey in that order. There's not even really tournament leverage to go off of Bijan to the other two because they're all going to have about the same ownership. You got Saquon next, and then the secondary group here, guys. So let's talk a little bit about this crew here. This is going to cause a lot of controversy. There's a lot of plays here that this will be where we differ, I think. So let's get into it, guys. Barkley and below. We got the top three out of the way. You have a whole crew here of running backs. I want you to give me two running backs, and let's remove Derrick Henry from that conversation. We all agree he's the best points per dollar value on the slate by far, and you probably should have him in your DraftKings lineup this week. If you don't, you're taking a pretty big risk, right? Okay, fine. But of the rest of them, Burns, I'll start with you. You're itching to go.
I am. Okay.
You are. I know you're itching. I know you're itching to go over there. We also have a big announcement after the running back group. So people stick around. I got a big announcement in a minute. Brady has been in my ear, the producer, telling me to do an announcement. So I'm going to do it after this. But Burns, give me two running backs sub the stud trio without including Henry that are popping the most for you this week.
Oh man. I think this is going to be tough because there are some that are in okay spots, but they're not great. Rashad White is actually in a decent spot in this matchup. I mean, it is a favorable matchup for him through the air as well as on the ground. DeAndre Swift's in a favorable matchup on the road, going up against Baltimore, who really just hasn't been a defense that has been anything remotely near what they used to be. And they're bleeding points to the running backs, and so Swift is in a spot that he could actually produce in. There are some good spots. I don't know. There's a lot of ownership on Breece Hall, or there will be. Derrick Henry is probably the most awesome spot, but we've seen him fail. But I won't take everybody. I'll just name off them.
There we go. All right. You got a few in there. How about you, Josiah? Who are some of the running backs that are popping the most for you here in the non-top three / Derrick Henry group?
I'm glad you scrolled up a little bit because I was worried at first that you're going to leave Saquon out.
No, he counts. He counts. Achane as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really do think that the Eagles are going to try and prioritize the run. The offensive line is beat up and banged up, and that's why they've been struggling. But with A.J. Brown out this week, I think they will try and prioritize it. And you can run on this Giants team. They're giving up the third most rushing touchdowns in the league this year. And Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, they're really who I'm talking about when I'm talking about like small linebackers that you can outpower. And We've seen Barkley outmaneuver these guys before too. So I'm not overly concerned about having 10-15% exposure to Barkley this week. And then playing it a little bit more safe, I'll go with a guy like Achane against a bad Falcons team.
Yeah. If Miami shows any life at all, it's probably going to be through Achane. No question. BobbyWow, how about you? Who are some of the running backs that are popping for you right now, outside of the main group that we initially covered?
Thinking with everybody else, I think, Achane's getting too little ownership. As gross as the Dolphins are, he's kind of the one bright spot, and he's a guy in PPR that can rack up points no matter how well or poorly that offense is playing. So especially in lineups that'll have Penix, he's far and away my favorite kind of ping pong stack option there. Or even if you're just rolling with like a Drake London or a Bijan, I kind of like ping pong in both those two guys because frankly Achane isn't priced up enough. And I agree with everybody else. Talked about obviously Derrick Henry we're not mentioning. I think DeAndre Swift is going to come in under owned. He's got that Q tag, and we've seen him kind of look much better than he typically does the last couple of weeks. Josiah or Burns, I can't remember which, mentioned you can run on this Ravens team, and I think the Bears are going to continue to look to establish the run first. So I think Swift is in play. One guy that wasn't mentioned that I am going to mention is Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown has some big time tournament intrigue this week. The guy his price has understandably fallen off a cliff. He's below 5,500, but he's still the starting back. He is going to be the guy in Cincy. I think we see him continue to get integrated more and more into the passing game. We saw it tick up a little bit last week. I think it happens. We see another tick up again this week. And I think at 5,400, you could certainly do worse in terms of pay down punts at running back, especially on DraftKings.
Yeah, teams can't stack the box against him anymore with Flacco back there. So is it going to open things up? I think
time.
It's a great call.
It's beyond, yeah. What do we always say about running backs, guys? I want running backs on teams that are winning games. I want the favored running back. I want a winning running back. They tend to do better. And we didn't see Chase Brown on a winning team for weeks and weeks and weeks. All they did was lose. So he didn't get to do Chase Brown things. Now that turns it around a little bit, right? Like we all expect the Bengals to win a lot of games here. And I think Chase Brown will give us a little bit of what we had been looking for from him earlier. If we're looking for bargain guy, I don't mind Woody Marks either at the very, very low end. If I wanted to get a little cute with a running back, I tend to like some of that priced wide receivers better than Woody Marks. So don't care that much about the savings. I don't know that I'll have a ton of it, but I think Brown and Woody Marks are both acceptable pay down options.
That's the thing about Brown is we know he's going to be getting, the starter reps.
Yep.
It killed me last week to see Nick Chubb in as much as even on passing downs, they're throwing the ball to Nick Chubb and he's alligator arming it. You got to talk to somebody over there.
It makes zero sense.
Woody Marks just has no cachet. So, this is like a 5th round pick. This was not the guy that they were brought in to build an offense around. And they have a hard time doing it. I get it. Scrolling up a little bit, one name that wasn't really mentioned, but I think is in a spectacular situation. And I think he's the reason that Josh Allen probably doesn't cross the 30-point threshold tomorrow or Sunday. And that's because James Cook is cooking. He's cooking right now. He's getting full, RB1 kind of touches for the most part. Not a whole lot of passing game work, but I think Cook in a game where the Bills are heavily favored. Bills, one of the beautiful things about the Bills is they score a lot of touchdowns, right? They do score frequently. And if we assign a 25% of them kind of metric to James Cook, that's why he does so well. Touchdown reversion. He's not going to revert. The team keeps scoring 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in a game. That's why the Lions running backs do so well. The team scores a lot. And so I think James Cook is an interesting little sneaky play. Weirdly, like I said, none of these guys are really flashing low enough ownership to make it seem like a fun tournament play. Everybody has ownership right now.
I have a couple of names too.
Yeah, there's plenty of ownership. There's very few low owned guys. I'm hearing people mention Javonte. It's not my favorite. I love Javonte. Don't get me wrong. And I love the revenge narrative concept. Maybe that would push him over the edge, but normally he's not somebody I'd be excited about going up against the Broncos. I think Scatterboo could be used. It could be used. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Kevin. Don't do it. Don't do Scatterboo.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about Scatterboo. Scatterboo doesn't. The problem with Scatterboo is, again, he breaks the rule of favorite. I really want running backs from winning teams. And so I don't even mind the Saquon play, Josiah. I really, really don't. Just
like
for the revenge narrative, but that's the
he
only
destroyed me last week, Saquon. I
There's
was
that
so
in-
heavy on him, but I like him again.
The problem with Saquon is you just play Bijan. It's not that much more.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
Or you go down to H. So like that's the problem, really. He's just priced incorrectly for like kind of what he's doing right now. And yeah, or Orenda Pictures knows. He's like, you can play Scatterboo here at low ownership. I think it's fine.
Why
Are we at the point? Sorry,
Okay.
go ahead, Josiah.
Well, I was gonna say, why aren't we talking about J.K. Dobbins? Why don't any of us like him?
Because he's never scored more than 15 points in a game.
When was the last time he did well? Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, that's a concern. Valid concern. I am gonna force some exposure here to a guy like J.K. Dobbins just because I do think points will get scored. But his upside has been limited, and that's like my only fear.
Look here, Josiah. This is why. This is the reason. Look at this column. These two columns right here.
I see it.
What do you see?
But I also see how bad the Cowboys have been. They're literally the third worst team against the run right now. I can't ignore that either.
So you're
But
saying
right. His
you
recent
think we
production
should
hasn't shown it.
imagine what can be with J.K. Dobbins, unburdened by what has been?
For me, I'm between guys like J.K. Dobbins and trying to take a shot on these Panther running backs because the matchups are so great. It's literally the Dolphins who can't stop the run, and right behind them are the Bills and I'm blanking on who else I was talking about, and the Cowboys. Like, it's that simple. And so I'm just gonna have exposure to these guys. It is what it is. Just letting y'all know.
Folks, let's address the red elephant in the room.
It's not pink, it's red.
The pink elephant in the room. I don't see colors, Burns.
Okay.
Oh,
Let me in on
jeez.
that. I don't see colors.
Oh, no.
Alvin Kamara. The pink elephant in the room. The backup is out. It's just him.
Well, there is another backup.
Did they discover a new back? I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's somebody else, but like the second backup doesn't get the kind of action. There's two pink elephants in this room. One of them is Kamara. And I've shit on Kamara all year. I've spent like multiple seasons telling you don't play this guy. And you avoided it. And you guys were all really thankful for me for the first 7 weeks because you saved 15, 20% exposure to a guy that has not been getting it done. But I mean, do we stay on the fade here?
Yes.
I think we're just naming too many names. We're getting to the point where we're just naming names.
That I'm not taking it too far with my fade.
We're fading him.
I mean, we fade good running backs who are starters against Vita Vea. And now we're going to talk about maybe taking Kamara off the list.
He's a starter. The other one is Breece Hall.
We all were in agreement on a fade last week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have no
Good.
problem.
We avoided the chalkiest play on the slate last week. You're welcome for everybody who watched the show.
And also, let that be a warning to the James Cook people. James Cook is much better, but than Breece, I think. But still, the Panthers,
like the Bills will
Josiah's
score more.
right.
I feel like the Bills will score more frequently than the Jets in an average game.
True.
Proven out by last week's 6-burger that the Jets put up. Not even a touchdown, just a couple field goals. But the Bills score a lot of touchdowns, BobbyWow, and I don't believe in Carolina Panthers rush defense. I don't buy
They
it.
score a lot of touchdowns, and James Cook hasn't scored any the last 2 weeks. So we also,
They're coming off a bye too, which helps. If they weren't coming off a bye, I would say fade the hell out of James Cook, but I believe in that coaching staff enough to think they'll find a way to get some points on the board this week after that really crappy performance in the last game.
I don't buy the whole trade talk with Breece Hall. That's a thing that's going around. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm buying it.
Denial?
No, I'd be happy for them to try. I don't care, dude. I don't care. I have my fandom is so minimal. It's so minimal. It's virtually non-existent at this point. Like I'm actively rooting for the Jets to lose this week and every week. Fuck them. We need that first round pick.
Your cat's mad at you. That's
We
weak.
need the
That's
first
fair
round.
weather.
Cato is coming in.
I was like, that was a lie.
What? She says, I don't like that she's getting excited for the Brees Hall segment. That's a little sketchy here. I don't know what to make of that. But I don't know. I just mentioned it because it's the Bengals, man. They stink on defense. Like, you watch them play, and their defense is like gaps are everywhere. I'm like, these guys, how are they this bad? Even, so if any
his props projection is as low as I've seen for our 6K running back.
Yeah,
Look at how dramatically
fact,
different that is.
Yeah, this is the answer. The answer is you can't play a guy. And I mean, you can't play a guy with a 10-4 that's supposed to have a 17, and he's got a 10-4. So maybe that's the answer right there. Guys, a lot of special announcement. We're shifting gears to the wide receiver group. We're going to take a look at the chalk report here real quick. But the special news of the day, the breaking news or the special report, I don't know. I forgot what I said before, how I gassed this up, but we're celebrating a big $85,000 winner in NBA this week. You FlexFit took it down, and I was told by the leadership of the DFS Army team that we're running another NFL or another DFS Army flash sale. That's where you get 25% off any subscription. They put 50 spots open for this, and the code is NBA Flash, and it will knock off 50% off of no shit. I'm saying this wrong. The cat's distracting me. This is the cat's fault. Stop distracting me. That's on you. 25% off any DFS Army subscription with promo code NBA Flash. It's happening now. It's going to end. There's 50 spots. I don't know how many were taken already, but they've been giving them out throughout the week. There's not that many left. So go grab one. If you've been sitting back waiting, I want to be part of DFS Army crew. Now's that time. NBA is going strong. We're crushing it already. Last night, by the way, B-Dubs. Where's B-Dubs? Can you pass a message to B-Dubs for me?
I got you. What's up?
Fucking Davion Mitchell call or whatever it was. 3K
on Wednesday night.
Core play that puts up a 50. How do you guys know this stuff?
Man, that's my guy. So freaking good,
B-Dubs. Bro, B-Dubs is like the secret weapon of NBA. I don't know what you guys are doing. We have a full-time staff that are updating you on injuries. Right now, there are 3K players going off tonight that are going to put up massive numbers, and the only one who knows it are in the DFS Army Discord, giving it out in that channel. So promo code NBA Flash, that's a 25% off. There's very, very few spots left. I gave it out on the Showdown Breakdown. A bunch of people used it. So NBA Flash is the code. All right, let's get into wide receiver group. There are injuries. There's all kinds of shit going on. Let's see what the chalk report says. Oh, come on. All right. All right. Here we go. Chalk report. This is my issue with Jamar Chase, guys. Highest owned guy. Fucking love him. 23 targets last week. It's crazy. Except if you play him, you cannot play Bijan. Like, you've got to make a choice. It's going to be difficult to play two of those guys. So keep it in mind. Right? You've got Zay Flowers, underpriced for a Lamar Jackson game, although Zay Flowers has real paths to failure. Like, he is not a consistent scorer. I don't care what the game is, but he can also smash at that price. I kind of think Zay Flowers should be priced there. I don't even think it's not about a bargain. It's like where he's supposed to be. Drake London in that game against Miami at home, the Penix guy. Olave coming off the big game last week. Go right back to it, maybe?
No.
Emeka Egbuka, only game in town for the Bucks passing offense. I like that. Devontae Smith with no A.J. Brown. That's a core play. That's an in every lineup situation.
Whoa.
I think so. Josh Reynolds, a little chalky this week. What are you, nuts? Who the fuck is playing Josh Reynolds? Are you guys crazy? Where does that come from? Who is thinking this is a good Josh Reynolds?
Who the fuck is that guy?
No.
Randy?
It's a no for me, dog. I don't think it was really good.
That's a no for me, dog. BobbyWow can't stand the scratchiness of it. Where's our video, man? We need to replace that clip with a better audio version. Guys, anything shocking for anybody? I'll just throw it out there. At these ownerships, anybody who you're like, fuck that, I ain't playing that guy.
Olave. So easy. So easy. Last week we were all over it. I was like, yeah, like, and Bobby too. We were like, load up on Olave. We know this Bears defense is one we can pick on. Outside of that, I don't think he can keep that going. It's really just play him against really, really bad defenses. Outside of that, he's just a volume machine.
Yeah. I mean, there's some core plays that I have that are not showing up with that much ownership. So I think this is going to be a fun slate. Like that's already, I'm like, okay, all right. Where's Tet with Andy Dalton? Can't find him. Keep scrolling. 8%. All right. I'll be on that. Devontae Smith is going to pop to like 30% owned, and rightfully so. Give all the AJ Brown ownership over to Devontae Smith.
Find someone who looks at you the way Geek looks at Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
That's my moral of this podcast.
And Flacco, you hate the veterans. You're
whoa. I've never hated
Okay.
Flacco. Never hated Flacco a single time, not even once.
No, but Jameis Winston, when I was going off, you were making fun of me too until I brought you on board.
Well, no, because JMO actually stinks.
Took a couple.
Blasphemy. Yo.
Still?
Bobby.
Andy Dalton's worse than Jamo. Way worse.
What do you mean
I
worse?
think Jamo stinks.
Jamo is like the greatest fantasy quarterback that you could ever ask for.
Oh
The
my
GOAT.
God.
Even
What is
being worse than that,
right
you're
now?
still at GOAT levels of awesome. I might name my kid Jamo if I had a new one. That's how awesome the Jamos all are, really. If I had a new one. All right. I don't know where I went with that. Love Jamo. All right, let's talk about wide receiver, and let's do it our normal way here. We're going to go top down, and we're going to talk about, you're going to give us out our favorite plays, studs and duds, taking ownership into account. Nico Collins looks like he's going to be out this week, guys.
He's already been ruled out.
So we also, as we're talking about the cheap guys, need to figure out who the fuck is that guy version of a pass catcher for the Texans will open things up for us at Stoneman 3K or 4K
Higgins.
or some cheap price.
Higgins.
Maybe. There's Noel Higgins.
I
Couple
don't
names.
care if it's Christ incarnate.
No? Bobby, do you hate paying down
CJ Stroud
for
can't
play?
even get Christ himself in football at this point. And I like
Real.
CJ. It's really sad to see.
Dude, if Christ was out there, he would get him the football.
I don't
telling
know.
you
Man,
right
it's been
now.
that bad.
That O-line.
You could just throw the football up in the air and it will find its target. It will find its mark. I have no doubt about that.
Can't argue with that.
I would not doubt that. Even if he had to walk on air to catch it. I just smashed my foot. All right, so let's go studs and duds, guys.
He's got smited.
I just got smited on my foot when I said that. Literally, I got punishment for making that joke. Burns,
We're off the rails.
some studs on the docket here, but not too many where you really need to pay up a lot. There's really only, you got Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Igbuga, and then it drops to 6K. There's really only, I would call them 4 studs on the slate. Do we need to play any of these guys at all? And to me, it's like almost very clear what to do here. But how do you navigate this, Burns?
I think you have to play them. I think Jamar Chase is in a great spot. This is why ownership is suppressed on the upper level quarterbacks, is because Jamar Chase is in an excellent spot. I think I think Emeka Egbuka is an amazing spot here. I think he's got fantastic ability to really, he could meet his output that he had against Seattle in this game. He's in a really good spot here. I really like him a lot. I think the ownership is actually a little bit under. I was expecting about 22 to 25% on Emeka Egbuka at this price. George Pickens. I think George Pickens is of these 4 guys up here, I think he's the one that actually could definitely make people at that 3.4% hurt ownership wise, because he could actually do pretty well in this matchup. Surtain's going to cover CeeDee Lamb, and so I think this one is going to be pretty interesting to have George Pickens in this one. I like George Pickens as the run back in Bo Nick's lineups.
I like it. I mean, it's hard not to like any of these guys, right? Jamar Chase, 23 targets last week, another 20 on the docket this week, maybe. Could happen. Really good stuff. Josiah, BobbyWow, any thoughts on this top group other, beyond what Burns just said? Obviously I think we all like Jamar Chase. Ibuka, only game in town for the Bucks. Sure, why not, right? And then George Pickens as the contrarian play to Lamb, who might get the sauce happening from Pat Surtain.
Yeah,
I'd rather play CD than Pickens personally, and I think either way, it's only with Dak for either of those guys. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. I think Drake London, you got to have some Drake London as well against Miami. They're so bad. But yeah, I think I'm in agreement otherwise.
Yeah.
My general thought on this upper group is, all great. Obviously, Jamar Chase is wonderful, and they're all great. Emeka Egbuka, sure, great also. But there are some real pay down options that look amazing on this slate. Yeah. And with the sexy running backs that you could pay up for, I think that the way that this slate will break down in actuality will be where, at least I think my general approach will be to try to pay down for some of these different wide receivers and afford to get to a Bijan or maybe even a second really good running back as opposed to like Bijan and something inexpensive. And we'll get into it with this second group here.
Hey, Kevin, the one guy I would add in is Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
His ownership is just crazy for this game environment.
That's great. And this, that falls in what I would call the second category of price points. So I'll just throw some of the names out here. I'm going to go through this whole list here from 6K, 6,300 with Rome, all the way down to about 5K, right? I'm going to throw some names out there. And then I would love to go back around to you guys. We're going to go clockwork this time, but like where you agree, where you disagree, or kind of which ones you love the most out of this crew. So I'm just going to, talk it through. Obviously, you mentioned Rome Odunze. Yeah, WR1 for Caleb Williams. Sure, why not? In that really nice matchup, I fully expect Caleb to be throwing the whole time. So, yeah, right? Cortland Sutton, WR1 against Dallas. Yes, please, right? Even though Cortland Sutton didn't have anything of a special game last week when Bo Nix was going off, that was just, that's unique to one game. To answer Savage's question, yes, high on Sutton. Fuck yeah, right? That's borderline a core play. Drake London, similar situation with Penix there, and then you keep it going. There are other, I think Devontae Smith without AJ Brown, spectacular. You got Ted McMillan here with Andy Dalton. Yes, please. T. Higgins. Everybody forgot that T. Higgins is almost as good as Jamar Chase when Flacco is at the helm. Not as good, but for half the price, fuck yeah, that's a core play. Just load up on T. Higgins instead. And then you have underpriced Zay Flowers kind of rounding out what I think to be the really, really good mid-salary plays. So I'm sure I missed some that you guys are on or that you like some a lot more than what I just mentioned. BobbyWow, let's start with you here. You heard a little breakdown of the secondary group. What are your thoughts on that? And is there anybody that you're really high on that I didn't mention or that I mentioned that you were specifically not down with?
I'm in full agreement on Devonta Smith. I think he's, maybe the top wide receiver value play, bang for your buck and ceiling combo on the slate. Love Devonta Smith. Not quite as high on Sutton. That Denver offense is just bizarre, man. It's bizarre the way that it produces to running backs. It's bizarre in the way that we've seen wide receivers produce, even in spike games, which are again few and far between for this Broncos team, at least to this point. This offense, it's very inconsistent at wide receiver. So less high on a guy like Cortland Sutton, less high on Tet with Andy Dalton. Again, in a solid spot. I think his price came back down a little bit, which is encouraging. But
how dare you?
I think for me, it's Devonta Smith and Zay Flowers in the two most smash spots. And the other guy I'm going right back to that we didn't mention is Michael Pittman. He is, maybe outside of Tyler Warren, the most consistent guy in that passing game. I think he had one down week 2 weeks ago, but otherwise has been really, really solid as kind of like a mid 5K option for the Colts. We talked about the 31 point total. Love trying to target guys in that game that aren't named Jonathan Taylor, and Pittman is one of them.
That's fair. That's contrarian. It's contrary to the narrative of Jonathan Taylor eating 3 more touchdowns and not allowing anybody to eat on the team.
Pittman scored 21 last week, I think. I think he was the nuts.
He did put up 21 with Jonathan Taylor going crazy. So it is doable on that squad. Josiah, how about you? We're kind of going through this mid salary range. BobbyWow agreed with a lot of the ones I pointed out, but add a few in there. And BobbyWow loves Smith and Zay Flowers the most. How about you, Josiah?
Yeah, I mean, between you and Bobby, y'all covered pretty much exactly how I'm thinking about this slate. So I don't have too much to say that's unique. The one guy that y'all missed, in my opinion, is just Jalen Waddle. I know he struggled last week, and this offense has got awful, but the target should be there, and his price tag's affordable at $5,700.
I like the call. I always kind of lean towards the favored teams for some of this stuff, but yeah, that call makes a lot of sense. I like it. Waddle, why not? They have no one else to throw to. It's not like the Falcons are a shutdown defense or anything that's scary. So, yeah, that could work. Burns, what about you in this group?
Well, I don't think there's anybody left.
No. All right. That works for me as well. Let's scroll down to the value zone.
Real quick, Burns, who would be like your top target of that group? You had to pick one guy.
I just had to put that out there. You guys took them all, so I might as well just put it out there. If I had to pick one, well, I mean, Devonta Smith is in an excellent spot now that AJ Brown's out. I mean, it's just an incredible spot. But I think if just that aside, if I had to look at scheme and everything, Roman Dunze is in probably one of the best spots in this whole group. He's going up against a heavy man, heavy cover 3, and so he typically destroys those coverages. And Baltimore has not been good in any shape or form against passing situations this year, nor have they been good against the run. And so I think Odunze is the guy that is going to go significantly under-owned in this whole grouping of 5 to 6,500. That's going to burn. He's going to burn people, meaning like he's going to actually help people win a contest this week. And I get it wholeheartedly. I like Devonta. I think he's going to be he's in my pool. I like Cortland Sutton tied with Knicks. But if I'm talking about just a one-off where I don't have to have Caleb Williams, I'm going right to Odunze. And because of the fact that the way he operates on this team, he is the WR1. And Caleb Williams looks for him all the time. And he's the alpha on the offense, and he destroys this coverage that he's going up against. So, yeah.
Better as a bring back for Lamar lineups than a standalone play.
I like him as a standalone play better than a bring back, but yeah, you can have them both ways.
Yeah, for me, it's just a nice bring back option on that game. Just contain the damage. If you're going to have a lot of Lamar lineups anyway, might as well contain the damage to the Lamar lineups. If Odunze is going off, I'm sure Lamar is going off or Derrick Henry. One of those two.
Yeah, that's the skinny stack right there. It's Odunze and Derrick Henry.
Works just the same. But as long as we're kind of like building a little bit around that game, I think I like that approach as well. All right, let's scroll to. There are going to be some extreme value situations. Even that, I mean, so much news has just hit or has hit really close to showtime that hasn't really cycled through props or even some of the ownerships or some of these metrics. So we're going to have to kind of locate some of these players.
There's some good ones under 5.
The sub 5Ks. I mean, Kendrick Bourne again, but not a very good matchup here.
I think the one guy that will be significantly underowned, and he's going to have a really damn good matchup. And it's kind of why I may actually go to Drake May this week in some lineups here, is Kayshon Boutte. I think he has an incredible matchup against the coverage that he's going up against. The fact that he's going to be like less than 2 to 3% ownership is incredible because he's popped off. The Browns, he doesn't have to pop off for a lot. I mean, he can pop off for 20, 18 and still make you tournament value. Tournament winning value is a different story. He's got to be 24 to 25. But yeah, he is a guy that I think is going to go significantly underowned. And, you know, I've been toying back and forth with what I want to do with guys that are in that 6K range for quarterback spots that are just underowned. And Drake May could be underowned this week. And Kayshon Boutte is, a lot of people are going to Diggs. And I think the rapport between Kayshon Boutte and Drake May is much higher and much more healthy of a rapport than Diggs and Drake May.
All right. I don't know that I'll be going there, but I'll certainly be rooting strongly for it to be successful for you.
That's my line.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'll be going there. Cleveland, why? I don't know. I'm just going to avoid that low total game in general, but Boutte has popped off a couple times already this year. So there's no doubt he's got it. He's got that ability in him.
But from Vegas perspectives, you can have a wide receiver pop off in a low Vegas projected line. So I've seen guys pop off with 16 and 17 projected fantasy implied team totals, and they're popping off for 25. So yeah, I mean, it's not out of the question by any stretch. And no. He's actually underowned for his production in the last 3 weeks, or under salary wise.
Yeah. All right. Listen, it's fair. Anything under this is tournament tactics. Players picking players under 2%, 3% that's how you make your money when you're right. So you're going to make a lot more money off of being right about Boutte than we would all be playing Devontae Smith at 50% owned chalk. So these are the kind of spots that you want to look for, or Zay Flowers at 30% or whatever. So these are the kind of spots you want to look for at low ownership. Josiah, any cheapies popping for you? This week in terms of the sub 5K zone, there's going to be a lot of value popping.
Yeah, I've got 3 guys. First and foremost is Rashid Shaheed. I'm in agreement with the chat. It's a Shaheed week for me. I'm under on Olave. Would you believe me if I told you Shaheed actually out-targeted Olave last week? A little crazy, but
That's
true.
Wild.
Yeah, you can fact check me on it. Just in case I'm off.
9 targets. I think Olave had his fewest targets for the year at 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
So things are trending well, and I also just like the spot and price tag. Next up, we have Darnell Mooney, who dropped critical balls. But he's out there and he's starting to move pretty well too. He just needs to get it all together. And I like this offense this week. And so against this bad Dolphins team, once again, I'll attack that. And then last but not least, I'll say this could be a little bit of bias here. The Coker call, it sucked ass last week. We had some better value that popped up too. So it just made him a little bit less necessary. But Jalen Coker and Andy Dalton, they have something special. And especially now with a full week to prep for it, I'll have some exposure there. I know I'm not playing Andy. But a 3,800 Coker. And yeah, Leggett is actually the guy who's been killing it lately. So that's kind of taking the steam off of Coker some. But I like the spot.
Leggett, Tet, Coker. These will all be featured in my Andy Dalton double stacks.
Geeks triple stacks with
double
Dalton.
Stacks.
You're making me want to believe and take a shot on Andy, but I can't do it.
You gotta believe.
Jeez.
BobbyWow. Who are you stacking Andy Dalton with this week?
I will not be playing any Andy Dalton this week.
Yeah, that's what you said about Dart.
To my detriment, probably, but will not be playing him. I love the Mooney call. I think that's excellent tournament call.
I like it. What else though, BobbyWow? In the affordability zone here, we also have the wide receivers from the Texans, right? Without Nico Collins, the target's got to go somewhere. Somebody's got to catch a pass.
Let me give you some crazier names here.
Yeah.
Tez Johnson's not a crazy name, but I do
No.
think we got to mention him. I think
Yeah.
he's firmly in play here at 4,300. But get a little crazier. I got two names for you. One, I think a lot of the GPP sharps are going to trend toward Jaden Higgins on the Texans side. We joked that Jesus might not be able to catch a ball from Stroud. I actually think Noel is the guy to try and get some ownership on here. He didn't play as much last week as Higgins did, but I swear that guy was like, he was getting open. He looked like the best wide receiver on the field last week.
It's like the way Burden always looks like that on the Bears, but then they pull him out. Like he gets a few plays. He's at the burden of the team right now.
I could see where you're going with that. But I think, I don't remember if it was Aikman on the call. I don't remember who was on the broadcast, but they kept mentioning like, they got to get Noel involved. And then all of a sudden, boom, he would appear. And it's like, why aren't they getting him more involved? So I think he's really, really interesting. I'd much rather play him than Josh Reynolds, if I'm down in this range. And the other guy that...
Wait, can I tell you something crazy to your point, BobbyWow?
Yeah, talk to me.
Jalen Noel has a higher prop projection than Jaden Higgins right now. What the hell? I'm shocked to see this. The projection for Noel is at 8.16. Jaden Higgins is at 7.7. The hell?
And they're both turds, right? They got a turd thrown on the ball right now. But I do think if I'm taking shots on somebody down here, Noel's at the top of my list. I think the other guy too, and this is maybe the crazier name. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, if I'm being totally honest with you. But Alec Ayo from the Tennessee Titans. Okay, this was a guy that we kind of expected to step in.
Ayomanor?
Yeah.
Okay. What? Okay. Yeah.
Alec Ayo Desumu. Yeah. Titans guy, fully expected to kind of take on a lot of Ridley's reps. Last week it was Dyke who I think stepped in and looked better. I think we were just a week too early, or the field was a week too early on Alec here. I really am intrigued by him. I know it's looked gross, but this is a Colts smash week, and believe it or not, the Colts actually give up passing yards in chunks. This is a defense that I think ranks in the bottom third of the league,
number 32
in terms
last.
of passing yards allowed.
Last.
There you go.
There.
I don't know if they're bad. They're bad against the
points allowed,
pass, at least in terms of chunk
receivers.
plays.
Yeah, in fantasy points allowed to opposing wide receivers, they are last in the league.
So,
I think could be kind of some sneaky upside here for Alec. So he'll be my super turd silly for the Millie dart down here.
I like it. That is so unowned.
That's a little bit of ownership.
It's like a classic BobbyWow, like Nick Westbrook-Akine call that just came out of nowhere. And then the guy pops for 25, and you're like, "How? What? The guy hasn't scored more than 3? How did you know? How do you know these things?" All right, Alik Ayomanor. You think his parents just typoed the R and just went with it?
I'm not going to speculate on that one.
All right, I don't know. I don't have information on that. I was wondering. Yeah, we covered. You guys really did a good job here covering the pay down options. I'm going to add in Darius Slayton to the mix because you gotta have the dart options.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson on the Eagles might be interesting at sub Stone Cold 3K. Probably not. You're right. It's probably not, but
maybe.
I tend to think that those targets will go to like a Goddard, but you never know. Sometimes the targets just don't exist because it's the Eagles and they don't throw it a lot. Troy Franklin, I want the secondary. So I've heard a lot of questions, and I see it in the chat, guys. Mims, when I'm going to go to these secondary wide receivers, WR2s and 3s, if I'm going to choose them, I'd rather go to games with a 55-point total, like a game that looks like it's going to pop off and go bananas anyway. So that's kind of what I would call Troy Franklin this week. I already like Denver against Dallas already. They're probably going to score a lot. So where do the scores come from? I don't know. But maybe Troy Franklin. Maybe Mims. some of that. So I don't mind adding some wide receiver exposure to, quarterbacks that I was already really excited about like that. Yeah, and then between that and the duo from the Texans, I don't think you need that much more. Like, you'll be able to find a wide receiver turd, in the $3,500 to $4,200 range that will open up, Chase and Bijan or some combination of players that look very exciting NFL week 8. I said in one of my videos, it was like a core 5 and I was an NFL week 5 and Oops. Got a lot of comments. Are you sure it's week 5? I think it's week 8. I'm like, that's right. It's going to happen more than once.
Guaranteed.
That mistake will happen again and again. Get used to it, audience. We appreciate you, but every once in a while, we film these live. Sometimes there are gummies involved, and you never know what comes out. All right. Tight end position, gentlemen. We got the chalk report here. Dalton Schultz, the highest owned. Really? Okay. Had a ton of targets last week, and now with all the guys out, actually, yeah, it does make a lot of sense. I think that's actually fine ownership. You got Kyle Pitts, Tyler Warren, the usual suspects. Mark Andrews here. Very, very flat ownership across the board at tight end. There's some names that I would go higher on than what I'm seeing here. Yeah, there are definitely some low-owned plays that could pop. So I'm going to send it over to Shark Lab. The lab spits out winning tight ends at an unusually high rate. So, Burns, what's the lab saying this week about tight ends that we should be targeting?
I think, George Kittle is off. He's a guy that's popping a lot. He's going to pop on pretty much everybody's projections. He's come back. He's healthy. I wish Brock Purdy was actually going to be in this game, but he's been ruled out. He has a better rapport there. Plus, he's coming back. This is the second week back. It actually helps CMC because he's the best blocking tight end in the NFL. Yeah, so he's a guy that's probably going to be in a lot of people's lineups. 9.3% ownership right now. But he's going to be above that. It'll be pushing 15, 20%. I think a guy that's could have better production than him today, this weekend. The projections are showing it is Kyle Pitts. He's in a really good spot here. His ownership is showcasing that as well. But a guy that's really low in salary and his ownership is showing this as well is Dalton Schultz. Everybody's, he's just 3,300 and he's getting so many targets. And that's why he's projecting from a props projection as high as he is. But guys like Mark Andrews, they're going to go a little bit under owned compared to these other guys. And they're in a equally as good of spots as the others. And a guy that actually, if he plays, I don't know his health status, but if he plays, he could very well pop off in the Carolina game, and that's Dalton Kincaid. So
Kincaid's had a lot of good games lately. Not a guy coming into the season that I was very excited about, but he's had a pretty good year as the Bills' rest of the pass catchers haven't really shined as of yet, and it's just kind of been Kincaid a little bit.
And you beat Carolina through with tight ends.
There we go. I like the Kincaid call. I don't think anybody. Kincaid's so low down on this list, I can't even find him. Yeah, I mean 3% owned. That is a super sneaky low owned situation. I like it. I love the tight end. Tight ends are good this week, guys. You could double tight end it and tight end week. What is this National Tight End Week? Why is
you never heard of that?
Why does everybody keep saying it's tight end week? What the fuck? Is this a real thing?
Last
or
year.
it's just on the show.
It's been a thing for like the last 5 years. I didn't know it existed until George Kittle and like Kelsey had a big week and I had a big win like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And Kittle was like, it's National Tight End Week. So I don't know. It's a real thing though that players are into.
All right, National Tight End Week. There you go. I do like a lot of the tight ends on this slate. You know, Dalton Schultz wasn't specifically projecting all that great before Nico Collins was out. But now that Nico Collins is out, I mean, it's hard to see this game playing out without Schultz getting, you know, this 7 or 8 targets and kind of having an acceptable performance for a $3,300 almost stone min tight end. I'm less excited about Cade Otton maybe, but some of these other names.
I love me some Cade Otton.
Do you?
You're sort of like fantasy points per dollar here, by the way, I think.
Yeah,
right?
he pops on the value chart, which is a little surprising for me. With Igbuka in,
no one else is in.
Tez?
It's just Igbuka.
I
No
mean,
Evans,
it's been
no
Igbuka all
Godwin.
year, and it's been fine.
No, Cade Otton got 9 targets last week. This is why Cade Otton was born to play the game of football. Is games like this. And last week. Last week, Baker just could not move the ball in the end zone against the Lions. A little bit of an easier matchup this week against the Saints. I love Cade Otton as he's low-owned pivot. I love him.
Shocking. He is going to be low-owned, though, as well. But again, so many good spots here. Dallas Goedert with no A.J. Brown. Like, he's been good anyway. He's been getting 8 or 9 targets most weeks, and now targets are going to open up. So let's get into a little bit of and BobbyWow.
Yes, you've been dying to play Bears tight ends. If you're going to play a Bears tight end, this is your week right here. This is the moment you've been waiting for, gentlemen. It is Colston Loveland time.
Yes.
To shine or die. This is his shot right here.
You know,
3K, great matchup. Cole Kmet is out.
Loveland's been seeing 3 or 4 targets already with Kmet in there. Couple targets a game.
I really hate to say it,
you
but it's
pop it a
season
little
high.
bit.
Love that Loveland call.
Yeah, why not a little Loveland? You scroll up a little bit. Dalton Schultz, I think is really good. And if we're willing to pay a little bit more, yeah, Burns, I agree as well. Kittle, I don't like. I really need Purdy to be back for Kittle to get to pique my interests. After Mac didn't throw to him once last week, or didn't connect with him once, I'm concerned.
He's
worried
just
about the quarterback.
Cheap, it's stupid.
Which
Kittle.
one?
Normally Kittle's 6K. He's 5,500, 6K. He's 4,500 on this slate.
Yeah. It makes it doable.
Yep.
There's one more I've got for you, Kevin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cheapy, low owned, the one and only Isaiah Likely, who I like because he hasn't been back since Lamar's been back. And he's looked like, not great. But he has had a rush at quarterback. And now you have Lamar Jackson back. He's super cheap. He's still on the field. I'm going to have exposure here.
Dude, Likely is very sneaky. And 2,600 is enough savings to make it real. I like it. Great call. Great call. Any further thoughts here on the tight end position from anyone?
Double tight end again this week.
Double tight end, you feel good about that? Yeah, I think that did win last week. That was a tournament winner with Ferguson. Fergalicious, so delicious. What more do I have to do?
Cade Otton is cheaper than the turtliest of turd wide receiver name that we could come up with.
Yeah.
Last segment.
Yeah.
It's crazy, guys. And I mean, it's not just Otton, it's some of these chalkier guys too.
We're at the time of year where you can catch a $3,500 tight end for a 20 spot. That makes all the difference in your lineup. That makes all the difference. The leverage is crazy when you play a second one. And you can hit. Tight ends are hit or miss, but some of these tight ends this week are much more. And by the way, I would say even at the $4,500 level, a lot of these tight ends between Pitts and Kittle and some of these other names, Kincaid and Goddard, that secondary, that middle group of tight ends there. Hey, Goddard gives you a 20. Kincaid can get you 20. Kittle
tight ends are hit or miss, but so is Jalen Knoll.
Yeah.
So is Josh Reynolds, the chalk at wide receiver at that price, right?
What the fuck? Get Josh Reynolds' name out your damn mouth. What?
There we go.
What kind of shit is that? What kind of shit is that? Fucking Josh Reynolds? What are we loading up on what's his name? DeAndre Hopkins too? We're going all the old guys? Kidding me? Why don't we just play? Wait, who's the guy? I can't remember his name. Larry Fitzgerald. Well, is Larry Fitzgerald back? We playing him? What the fuck is going on, man?
I wish.
Not playing. By the way, this will be made into a short as Josh Reynolds goes nuts next week and just goes bananas for all the points. Like Geek just, are you fucking crazy? And then he just, bam, went off. Hell no. All right, let's
See
just
up
focus.
North, chat.
What's that?
You see a DFS Up North's chat.
Oh, DFS of North popped in?
Kirk Cousins with Penix questionable.
Oh, stop it, Kirk Cousins.
If Penix is out,
Mm-hmm.
I will smash Kirk Cousins so much harder than Andy. I mean, he's so much better than Andy Dalton.
he
in every
4K?
way, shape, and form. It's just unfathomable.
I didn't even know. Is this a real risk that Penix might
Is
not
he
play?
4K?
It is a real risk. I'm looking at his
think
price now.
I think Penix is going to play, but if he doesn't, I'm firing up Captain Kirk. Andy Dalton's not even getting a second look from me.
I would be interested in I would be interested in that whole situation. I actually think Kirk Cousins would be better for Mooney and
Yes.
and London by far than Penix. So yeah,
He's 4,400.
Kirk has been taking a lot of the first reps. There he is.
Kirk's
That's
better than
why-
any starter in Minnesota right now, too. Man, it's too bad you traded him.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'll listen. We can pivot. We don't get stubborn around here. Pivot when we need to. Yeah, I'll take all of that. He is, I would say, a better version of Dalton, as difficult as it even is humanly possible to be a better version of Dalton.
Yeah, that's why I love you, man.
It's not easy to be
You're the
better
best.
have you seen Andy Dalton? He's fucking, he
You're
wants
the
to sling it
best.
too. He's like Joe Flacco's little brother out there. I could see those two hanging out after the game, just having a beer.
For sure.
Yeah, Dalton and Flacco for sure. Those two, I would want to hang out with them.
Yeah, Dalton's asking for Flacco's autograph, maybe.
No, I'd want to be friends with them. Like, I'm not even joking. I would just want to be at the bar having that beer. I'm like, guys, round of blue moons for everybody. I got you.
God, does Dalton stink?
Then Flacco's like, dude, I only drink Guinness. I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Too thick, too heavy. Try this blue moon. And then he's like, you know what?
Some crazy psychopath called Guinness the pumpkin spice of beers. Can you imagine that?
It's too heavy. A few sips is nice. And then after the first few sips, you're like, all right, I wish I just had like a regular beer. You know, you all think that way, but everybody's too embarrassed to say it out loud. I will say it out loud. Halfway through the Guinness, I'm like, man, I wish I just got a regular one.
I don't know. I like them.
How many, though, can you drink?
No, you can't drink more than one, but I'm just saying.
My point was just made. Thank you, Burns. Drink just one.
That doesn't mean you can't like them.
Some of us don't need to slam 5 pea waters to enjoy ourselves. We can just
Yeah.
enjoy a taste.
Like
of
Michelob
Guinness.
Ultra and shit like that.
You guys never break the seal, and that's the problem. The
Those
seal is
Michelob
never
Ultras-
broken on half a beer.
Fucking-
5 beers in, the seal breaks, and then it can't be stopped.
Wait, what's your favorite
If you're
beer?
breaking a seal, you just drink.
You know my
bourbon, man.
favorite
You,
beer
you don't
very
drink
well.
water out of a
Okay,
trough.
yeah.
You don't
With
drink
a slice of orange.
See, you're oh man, yeah.
With the orange
It
slice.
doesn't get more pumpkin spice of beers than that, gentlemen.
Yep. You can't-
And
let me. So you're a Corona with the lime too guy, right?
I'll take a Corona.
Oh, God.
And I will push a lime into it. No problem.
I've tasted better backsplash off the Wrigley Field troughs.
I will take a Corona. I'll take a Blue Moon.
I think Bobby and I like probably about the same types of beer.
If the Blue Moons aren't available, I'm going right for the Miller Genuine Draft.
And let me guess, you were a natty light college person, right?
No,
We're
we
losing
didn't have
subscribers
that.
right
We
here
didn't
with
have
Geek's
that in
beer
New York,
selection.
in
My goodness,
Albany.
we better stop.
We didn't have that in Albany. It wasn't a thing. But we had our own garbage beer that we
What was it? Bush or PBR? Did you
a
PBR?
little bit of that,
yourself?
it really Bud Light was pretty much the garbage beer that we had a ton of. So it's really a lot of Bud Light. I hate IPAs more than anything. I actually would rather have a Guinness than an IPA.
Oh.
Much rather have that. Yes, Real Jazoo knows it. You got to have the champagne of beers. This is the fancy stuff. By the way, I have so many Blue Moons. I never have to worry about another brand. I have an entire fridge filled top to bottom with just Blue Moons. My wife hates it. It's in the office here. She gets like, we don't need that. It's wasting electricity. I go, it's my brand. Don't even mess with it. One day they'll sponsor the show.
I wish I had a beer I love the way you do. I don't. I just drink whatever's in front of me.
Yeah, no, you gotta have one. You gotta have one.
One day.
Burns, you're the defensive mastermind. The Shark Lab spits out Colts every single week, and now they're finally in the smash spot of the year.
Yeah, and they're expensive.
I spent all the FOB in my fantasy football league. I was like, fuck it. I spent all my FOB picking up Colts defense this week. Was that crazy?
No, I think it was fine. Hopefully you didn't spend like 50 on them because you probably didn't need to.
The whole FOB.
Oh,
no, in fairness, it was a waiver league, and I wasted my waiver priority on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not as bad when you consider he's trying to sell what's his face at the deadline, the quarterback. What backup are you trying to sell right now?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
That.
Wentz or one of those guys, right?
It's Wentz. Yeah, you're trying to sell Wentz. Get out of here with that.
Dude, some people need a quarterback. Give me a third rounder. He will start for you for the next few weeks. What is the big deal?
Me? What?
Ew, I don't know.
That's a lie. Just lying.
He's probably not going to start ever again. So that was for last week.
Oh, man.
You sent that like Wednesday night or Thursday morning, something crazy.
It was before the game. And then at the game, I'm like, oh, man, look at this guy. He's damaged goods. The arm is fucked up. The shoulder. He won't start again this year. Like, I've never seen somebody wince in pain the way that they're. By the way, JJ McCarthy's fine to play. Just so you guys all know, they were just not wanting to put him out there because he sucks. So
it was like a coordinated attack. I got that Carson Wentz from you right after. Says spit on me and offered me Derrick Henry for my first.
Yeah, dude, he did the same thing to me too. I'm like,
never accept a trade
out of here with this shit.
You guys should know better than to ever accept a trade from Sislowski. Never.
I got Sam Darnold last year from him. It was a good trade.
You
didn't like it. It was good. It worked out.
You give up a first?
Rounder?
I don't remember what I gave up, but it worked out. So
I think you gave a first and
firstborn probably, which no one says.
And he got like 10. It was fine. It worked out. I made the playoffs, got second place. I made money.
You know what? If it worked out, it worked out. Guys, let's get into these defenses, though. Should we play the Colts all day and just stop after that? Burns, I actually paid all the way up for Colts in a couple of lineups already. I was like, fuck it. I've never done this before. I'm going to click the most expensive defense.
Yeah.
Figure it out elsewhere.
They're a good defense. Though I think there are some better spots. I do like the Colts. Don't get me wrong. I like them a lot. I think they're a really good defense. But 3,800, that is going to hamper you a little bit. But all the good defenses are, they're going to be 2,700 and above. If you want to spend 2,700, go with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're favored. They're at home. But they're going to be very owned. I would actually save them for your cash lineups and single entry contests. Because in the high like entry fields of GPPs, that defense right there is going to be pushing 20+% owned, because everybody's like, oh man, I got to shove in all these high salaried players, and they're the only one that I can actually use. And well, that is at home and favored. Texans are in a very good spot at home. They're a very good defense. Broncos are also going to be in play here.
Broncos?
Yes.
Against the hottest offense in the National Football League?
Yes. They're in play. They are in play.
All right.
Let me hear it, Burnsy. Let me hear it loud and proud here with this next one.
It better not be the Eagles, dude.
Give me the birds, baby. Come on.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah, they're definitely in play.
Yes, sir. Yes,
they
sir.
are 100% in play.
Go yourself. Is that clear?
Yep.
The most appropriate Elon ever.
Yeah. And then the Falcons.
How dare you?
Falcons and Patriots are my last two. They're very in play. Especially the Falcons. Miami's damaged goods right now. They can't do anything right. And then Cleveland bringing in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, whoever starts or whoever plays at a quarterback spot, doesn't matter when you got New England at home as a defense. Two rookies, it doesn't matter. They're just gonna stomp them. So yeah, just play favorites. That's it. Cross out everybody else.
favored teams that are going to win their respective games.
And if you can get smart and play home favorites, you're even better at situation. Just X out all the underdogs.
You know which underdog? A couple of defenses did pretty good, but the favored always, like on the Monday night slate, there was quite a few high scoring defenses, but the home field ones were better. I can't even remember who played on Monday night. That's how the season goes by in a flash. But it was
They're different though. You almost have to play like both defenses. Yeah, they have to be in play. So it's just the way it is.
What about the Bills? No one mentioned the Bills.
They're a favored defense,
against Dalton. Dangerous.
How could we mention that? It's sacrilegious.
BobbyWow, how dare you? What about you? And Josiah, you got any defenses that Burns didn't mention that are popular? Probably not, right?
No, my two favorite are Falcons and Bills, though.
Falcons and Bills for you? Okay. Bills. See, there it is. That's what I mean.
That's on brand for me, though. I do that pretty much every week.
Just whoever's playing the Panthers? The Andy Dalton led Panthers, or just any Panthers?
Just in general. I always have some exposure.
I'd rather have the Bills if Bryce Young was playing. Prefer it with Young in there.
Yeah, and the Lions are not on this slate.
But I'm sure they're very good on whatever game they're in later on in the week. BobbyWow, any defenses popping for you outside of the Ravens?
They're on
Ravens
a bye.
They're going to be one of my favorites. The Ravens.
I know you're just trying to hurt me. I'm not going to allow you to see that. It's tough, man. I think Burnsy nailed him. I'm in full agreement with his picks. I think, the 49ers, maybe I have a little more love for them than most people, but otherwise I nailed.
By the way, I'll flip it around and say the Texans in that game are viable.
Both teams.
Yeah, I'm going to call that viable as well. 49ers going to roll out Mac Jones again. The magic has been there, but he's also been a little banged up, I feel like. Like, I always see him kind of limping around, kind of struggling out there. And we might get the Wentz, the capitulation that we saw with Wentz on Thursday night, where the toll of the injuries finally all added up into him just looking like shit. Like, not like shit, but like a warrior, but just did not have the tools to get it done. That's
my highest one defense on the slate. They're the most balanced pick to me because they're an actual good defense, favored at home against a backup quarterback at 3K. So
that's really close game, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. It's actually swung even more to the Texans than I thought. That's a really interesting one. Yeah, we're gonna have to find or ideally have a few pay down. I know already, and I'll mention it. I'll plug Players Club tomorrow at noon every day. So you guys know, everybody watching, for DFS Army VIP subscribers, or DFS Army subscribers, and even the pro subscribers here on the YouTube channel, we do the Players Club on Saturdays at noon, and we build lineups together. We go through the whole slate one last time, all the information, take it all in, build lineups together, handcrafted focused on multipliers, 40x multipliers, 10x multipliers, really focusing in on the style of contest selection that you need in order to be a profitable player. On DraftKings here, we talk about, tournament plays a little bit mixed in with sort of big GPP plays on the Tournament Tactics show. But in the end of the day, you're not going to be a successful DFS player just by rolling 150 in a mini max. You really have to be able to craft a few lineups that can score in the top 10 or top 1%. And then you have to take advantage of those by cashing in the maximum value, which is what we teach on the Players Club every Saturday at noon. So make sure you're there. If you're not, don't forget NBA Flash is the flash sale promo code where you can get in on VIP and join us where everybody's smashing during the Players Club. As a matter of fact, Nolan T. This past week, everybody loves Nolan T. Tom Nolan, one of our members, handcrafted a $55,000 winning lineup during the Players Club.
Wow.
Let's go.
Now, Nolan T, Tom, had the balls to take that lineup and put it in some serious contests. That's why it delivered so much punch, right? He also took second place. Didn't even show me the screenshot. He came in second with that handcrafted lineup in the FanDuel DraftKings Championship qualifier, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, almost got there. Almost got there. It's bananas. But that was during the Players Club, and that's a lot. I really pride myself on it. The Players Club and that stream is really about, here's some ideas for a lineup. How do you want to do yours? Here's some ideas. Like you guys are in a Josiah, you're in there with me every Saturday as well. Here's some ideas for how to build maybe around a dart. You know, you might see a dart lineup in there, right? And here's some ideas, but maybe you might say, oh, Kevin used Wandale in that one, but I think I like Slayton, or I'm going to throw Theo Johnson in here, and we'll show a few different examples, and kind of everybody kind of does their own thing, and it's been a really important part of the DFS Army subscriptions for people and the experience. It's been really great this year. We've had more success during that show than I've ever had in the past, like in terms of putting together amazing. I don't know what's going on. Let's keep it going. All right. It's a real chalky year. That's why Geek keeps winning. Okay. All right. If you say so. Fine by me. I'll keep it going. But if you guys want to check that out, of course, NBA Flash is the promotion that's going right now, guys. Don't miss that one. You will regret it, I think. That's going to do it, I think, fellas, for this one. Final thoughts, BobbyWow?
I really like the double tight end this week. I do not like Dalton, and go Bears. Let's make it 5 in a row.
How dare you? Josiah, final thoughts?
Not playing Jackson Dart. Go Panthers.
There it is. Not playing Jackson Dart. Are you mad, sir?
A little bit.
Possible reason would you do that?
Also, check us out in the NBA pre-lock show every Monday through Thursday at 5:45 to 6.
Guys, Josiah is crushing it in the NBA pre-lock show. So yes, make sure to do that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel here as well, so you'll get notifications. The real Jazoo is definitely with me in the Players Club because he knows how long that stream will last. It frequently is a 3-hour banger. It was like, I'm not watching that shit. We have fun too. We have fun. We all hang out. It's a good time. Just tell your wives. It's like watching a football game. I need a 3-hour window to make my lineups, and then we're good for the rest of the weekend. And you'll be fine. She'll allow it. She'll allow it. Burns, final thoughts?
Cheat sheets have been crushing. They're freaking absolutely enraging fire right now. All you have to do is play the players on my cheat sheets, and you'll be straight in and big tournaments.
I'm just going to play the players on Burns' sheet. Let's fucking crush it. All right. Appreciate everybody being with us here once again for Tournament Tactics this and every week. Your comments are spectacular. Let us know in the comments as you're watching this. Did we miss on someone? Is there a quarterback wide receiver stack that you thought of that we didn't even, and you're like, or, hey, you guys mentioned everyone. I ain't got shit to add. That's cool too. That's fine too. Meanwhile, I'll see everybody tomorrow at noon at Tournament Tactics. Josiah and the crew will see everybody on Sunday for the NFL pre-lock show. Best of luck to everybody this big NFL weekend. Helmets up, guys.